That was really weird. Okay, did I get reconnected? Okay, yeah, I did get reconnected. Hey, what's up, Jello Ledgeview? Yeah, no, my entire internet went out completely. Like, there was no signal whatsoever. They got me. They got me. Goddamn CIA was like, we gonna get you. God damn, I can't believe it. Yeah, the entirety. Usually it like drops or something, but it was just like no internet there whatsoever. The little icon at the bottom said like no internet and everything. The glowies got me. I got replaced. When I went down, I got replaced with a pod person. I'm a different person now.
Cornwell, having been given LSD, says of him, fairly cooperative, oriented, alert, and gave no evidence of psychosis or depression.
MKUltra does not exist. It does not exist. Neither do the demon clowns that don't exist in interdimensions.
From the Army's point of view, this type of LSD interrogation was a success. Other documents refer to the exploitability of interrogation subjects, cracking them, keeping them off
Exactly, Lewis.
balance mentally, and providing an economical, speedy, and productive aid to interrogation. From James Thornwell's point of view, it was no success. Thornwell still has serious problems. He's run through 2 marriages. He maintains he can't hold a job.
Hell yeah, Thomas. What's that waste of space? Hell yeah, Migo.
Can't concentrate, has nightmares, and feels socially and emotionally isolated. Last fall, Thornwell filed suit against the government in federal court. In a moment, we will examine the closest experimentation to brainwashing that we have uncovered.
No, they are definitely not here with me now.
By far, the most chilling experiments we have uncovered took place at this Gothic estate called Raven's Crag.
Yes, this Gothic estate called Raven's Crag. Like King Cobra is like standing like on the top of it playing his guitar.
Halfway up Mount Royal in Montreal. It houses the Allen Memorial Institute of Psychiatry of McGill University. It was here that
Hell
the
yeah.
CIA funded a series of experiments, severe experiments. The work was done by the Institute's then director, Dr. Ewan Cameron.
Yeah, this shit's crazy. I watched like a movie about this guy that was from years ago. This dude was a crazy motherfucker.
It is the closest experimentation to brainwashing yet disclosed. His work, unprecedented in psychiatry, consisted of 3 areas which he called sleep therapy, psychic driving, and the
Gothic King Raven.
ultimate depatterning. Dr. Maurice Dongier, current head of the Allen Memorial Institute.
In his psychic driving, so-called type of therapy, he would give the patient intensive electric treatment in order to make the patient regress
Hell yeah, Lewis. Montreal. Of Montreal.
deeply, become forgetful, and then he would attempt to implant new ideas in the mind of the patient.
Now, to a layman, it would appear that Dr. Cameron was trying to take the slate and wipe it clean, the slate being the mind. In other words, brainwashing.
Exactly, that's a very good comparison.
Brainwashing.
Yes, if you like.
Val Orlico of Winnipeg, Canada, the wife of a member of the Canadian Parliament, was a patient of Dr. Cameron's. She entered the Allen Memorial Institute because of severe depression. She describes for the first time publicly the LSD therapy and psychic driving treatment
Hell yeah, LaCandel. Hell yeah, depattering.
that she was given by Dr. Cameron.
And then the drug began to take hold very rapidly because it was an IV injection, and things became very furry and very frightening.
Things became very furry. Ugh, gross.
And had a lot of sensations that it's very difficult
I guess that's why they all turn into dolphin diddlers, god damn it.
to recall. Nobody explained it to me. Nobody ever asked me if I was willing to do it or anything.
He had this feeling that he would be able to get through the resistance of illness and to reach deep changes very quickly.
Did he?
I don't think that when you look at that in retrospect, the hopes that he had have been in any way fulfilled.
That dude's obviously not a Nazi scientist, right? No, I'm just French Canadian.
But Cameron would plunge on. The next step was what he called psychic driving. This involved almost endless tape-recorded messages and more drugs for the patient. Cameron wrote that this was the way to make direct control changes in personality.
Yeah, Builder Cat, that's what she was saying. Yeah, and she straight up Frostman said furry, not fuzzy. Things became very furry.
I thought this was the coldest and most impersonal treatment that anybody could give to anybody in the world. And I became more and more despondent and more angry. I just became so despondent that I thought I can't live like this any longer. And I thought I would just go out and throw myself underneath the cars on McGregor. I stood on the curb of that street and I stood there and I thought, okay, go. And then I thought, what if you're not killed? What if you're just maimed? What if you don't die and you live and you can't even talk anymore? And I couldn't do it.
The most severe technique Cameron used.
Okay, wait, so was she depressed before she went there and wanted to jump in front of cars before she went there? Or is it like after the fact, after she got out from getting brainwashed, then she was like really depressed and wanted to jump in front of cars?
Was de-patterning. He described it as breaking up the existing patterns of behavior by means of intensive electroshock therapy with prolonged periods of sleep. He carried out these experiments in something he called the sleep rooms.
People in there were like babies. They cried and they were very disoriented. And we were very afraid of the sleep room. We used to...
The sleep room. God, that doesn't sound ominous in the least little bit.
Walk very carefully against the side of the corridor that was opposite the sleep room with our backs to the wall when we'd go by.
Cameron used this
What's up, Gabe?
combined sleep electroshock treatment on patients as long as 30 days. One patient he kept asleep for 65 days. Cameron retired, and his successor, Dr. Robert Cleghorn, ordered a follow-up study on the patients treated with Cameron's de-patterning method.
Showed that it was no more beneficial in its result than the use of more conservative methods.
It turns out torturing people isn't really the way to go.
But the follow-up study showed that 60% of those who had been de-patterned still had amnesia for periods of anywhere from 6 months to 10 years. That's quite a memory loss, isn't it?
That is a memory loss. Indeed it is. It's more, I think, more than desirable.
The Del Rey Misfits? I don't know. What is that? It sounds familiar, but I don't know if I'm completely, know exactly what's going on. Yeah, exactly, Ledgeview. 65 days. And with a infinite tape loop playing with some crazy shit on that infinite tape loop. Playing thousands upon thousands of times. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they were going to make them go out of their minds and go over and infiltrate the Kremlin or something.
Terrible.
In retrospect, does Dr. Cameron's experimentation and his treatment appear harsh?
I would say yes. I mean, this forceful type of approach that I was describing to you is definitely it can be said that it's harsh.
I wouldn't call it harsh. I would say it was harder on the staff than it was on the patients, because these people had to be fed and they had to be cared for and they had to be given sufficient fluid and food and toileted and so on and so forth. It was a very difficult.
God damn. Every single person that they've like interviewed has like stammered over their words, like, well, I mean, yeah, it might be morally wrong, but you know, the Soviets, if we weren't doing it, the Soviets would be. Like, all of them are like that.
Thing for the staff to.
Oh my God! Right, Ledgeview, playing the sounds of like rabbits being slaughtered and like Slayer and shit, and like bright lights and whatnot, and then they just like burn them all up at the end.
Follow these patients properly and see that they did well.
Well, I'm glad he was concerned for the staff. But damn it all, I wouldn't. I could have maybe had a different kind of life. And that makes me angry and sad, and I don't know how to explain how I feel, really. I just.
How did you feel when you learned that Dr. Cameron's experimentation was financed by the CIA?
Well, I thought, I can't even use the word.
Hell yeah, dentist. That's an Italian horror movie, because the mouth isn't like syncing up and everything.
That I thought, because I thought, that bastard. And he was too smart. He knew who he was working for. And, excuse me, but, I just,
Hell yeah, SH.
I just can't, sometimes I can't believe it, and yet I know it's true.
If you had the opportunity to say something to the people at the Central...
Yeah, Gabe. Well, they programmed something in her. It hasn't, like, awoken yet, but one day she's gonna, like, stab.
Intelligence agency who financed this study, what would you say?
Oh, absolutely, Builder Cat. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm not giving him a pass on anything. I'm just saying, like, that's the mentality that they had. Like, fuck it, if we're not doing it, our enemies are.
I realize the CIA is a very important organization and they have a very important job to do. But God, it surely doesn't have to be done on people who are totally incapable of knowing what's happening or having any defense against.
Christian's an MK Ultra psyop. He lives too close to Washington, D.C. for him not to be. Come on. They were always like, looking at him and like keeping tabs on him and shit. And like Bob having like whatever he did, having some sort of like acclaim, building that toothpaste machine or whatever the fuck he built.
And I can't imagine the mentality of people who would do this. I just can't.
As for
Hell yeah, Bear Man.
Dr. Cameron, he died in 1966 while mountain climbing. A colleague wrote of Cameron, "For him, the ends justified the means. And when one is dealing with the waste of human potential, it is easy to adopt this stance." Dr. Cameron seemed ideally suited for what the CIA had in mind. It was the Cold War, and especially the trial of Joseph Cardinal Mindszenty, who was forced to testify in a Hungarian court that he was a spy. And then later, the Korean War, with the coerced and mainly fraudulent confessions of American servicemen.
My generation took place on the...
That would spark intense interest in intelligence circles about brainwashing. The CIA secretly commissioned a study of
No, like, Chris was like, all the shit that he did, he became like a big old, like, internet sensation. And, did it with his mom and all that.
Communist brainwashing methods at the Cornell University Medical Center. A leader of that study was Dr. Lawrence Hinkle. He explains first the Russian method of controlling and breaking...
Yeah, absolutely, Shinobi, yeah, they did.
...a person.
Absolutely isolated from everyone else, with one man whose job it is to get you to write the extent to which you are a criminal. In this setting, you can get people to do most anything.
What's up, Feldspar?
You see, because you
I'm the main crop at the farm.
don't have to lay a hand on them. And by the time you get through and you go up before the judge,
Do I gotta go harvest them? Is it like the Cabbage Patch Babies at that weird ass place down in Georgia where they got those big Cabbage Patch heads growing?
the fellow says, "Were you a spy?" He says, "Yes, I was a spy." The Chinese never really had this kind of a state police system. They would get him in, and all this fellow does is ask you write, rewrite.
What's up, Tulsa?
And talk to him about your whole life.
Graduated from pilot training in 1949.
While the purpose of the study was to find out about communist brainwashing techniques, CIA documents show that the agency was interested in developing.
Aren't the communist brainwashing techniques like putting bamboo underneath your fingernails and shit? We were over here like messing with acid and mescaline, scopolamine, psilocybin, and like, you know, the Chinese were just putting fucking bamboo spikes in your fingernails.
Developing mind control methods of its own to precondition and control Chinese living in this country to be sent back.
I don't even know how to do that, James Craig Jr. You don't need to be timed out. I don't care. As long as you're not like a sex bot talking about like, look here for nude photos, blah, 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 fire emoji, fire emoji.
Back to their homeland as CIA agents. What do you think they were looking for?
Well, I think they weren't looking for agents or anything like that.
Yet the agency's perception of the work you were doing, in CIA documents we have examined, it says that the project that was being done here, they intended to use everything learned about the new agents to induce them to, quote, to perform acts of a complex, purposeful nature.
Yeah, but that was never done.
The effects of which may be out of keeping with the individual's previous behavior.
That sort of thing was never done. Those people were not, that was, when they first came here, the first people they sent up to see us, you see, were operational type people from the CIA with some rather wild ideas.
Okay, this is...
I know who James is.
Their perception of it, if I could just continue.
No, it wasn't their perception of it either. No, it wasn't.
Dangerous to his being, contrary to any previous consciously expressed intentions and interests, contrary to the good of the individual, and subversive to the goals for which he is consciously working.
I understand all this talk. But the situation was, you see, those things were never done because of wise people on both sides. We were not able to do this nor interested in it.
They were, though.
Some of the low-level people were, but the high-level people were not, to tell you the truth.
But
some of the lower-level people were, but the higher-level people weren't, tell you the truth. God damn. Everybody just has excuses. Literally everybody they've interviewed just has, like, excuses.
Documents clearly show that the CIA was attempting to develop a...
Oh, SHS. Scopolamine in low doses absolutely can be used for nausea and stuff. That's what Dramamine is derived from. It's like a synthetic, analog of scopolamine. And that's why if you take way too many Dramamine tablets, you will have severe hallucinations, like delirium hallucinations, that are like things there in front of you, not like fun psychedelic Yalisamarine shit. But like, oh my god, a lizard man is looking at me, and that's a lizard man standing right in front of me.
Agents over whom they had as much control as possible. Agents who would perform tasks contrary to their own good.
God, when I was like my senior year in high school, there were all these kids that were younger than me who got on a fucking Dramamine kick. And like I remember seeing them at like my buddy's like garage where we used to hang out like in the upstairs of the garage, and they would just be like rolling around on the ground just like like fucking Dramamine heads.
Normally conditioned American who's been trained to kill and then to have no memory of having killed. His brain has not only been washed, as they say, it has been dry cleaned.
Yeah, Stoney, that's what I'm saying.
Is a Manchurian candidate, controlled by others to do things against his will, possible?
Oh, hell yeah, Lewis. In the like the Serpent in the Rainbow powder method.
It was a remarkable film because, as far as I'm concerned, it made something totally impossible seem absolutely credible.
I would say the answer is yes, but there are many qualifications to that.
Dr. Milton Klein, a psychologist.
Yeah, I don't know. God, my school had a problem with people just doing Dramamine and triple C's, and that's why Bradley still to this fucking day does triple C's. Like, I don't know, it was like an epidemic there. Like when I was a senior, like, it was like the younger kids, and they're the ones who got Bradley into fucking taking those triple C's and shit to begin with.
A clinical and experimental hypnotist, and unpaid consultant to the CIA.
The qualifications would be the subject selected to produce the kind of behavior that you wish, the amount of time, the procedures that are utilized, and the motivations of the people who are designing, executing, and administering the procedures. You're asking whether an individual can be, under hypnosis, influenced, coerced, persuaded, shaped to perform an antisocial act, or a destructive act, or an act of violence. My answer would be yes.
Captain Marco, you be good.
Hell yeah, Feldspar. Oh my god, once I saw Bradley like cough up like a blood vessel from his lung or something because he was taking so much of it, and it has that weird like shit that like fucks with your lungs because it's for like opening up your lungs, you know, because you got like colds and whatnot. But it was disgusting.
Good enough to lend Raymond your pistol, please. Yes, ma'am.
Hell yeah, word 69.
Thanks, Ben.
Sure, kid. Shoot Bobby, Raymond.
Oh, hell yeah. Exploding soda bottles and trash cans. My school was like infamous for people dying, drunk driving and dying. There was like a wall, like a fucking wall with everybody's like pictures who died going back like a couple of years because so many people would fucking die. It was like nefarious, notorious, whatever I'm trying to say. Like, oh my god, you go to the drunk driving dead school, don't you?
Through the forehead.
Yes, ma'am.
Seriously, like every year we'd have like 5 or 6 people die.
How valuable?
Oh yeah, absolutely, right? They had to put that red filter on it because it's, you know, talking about the reds.
A tool can hypnosis be in the intelligence field?
None whatsoever. It has absolutely no use because nobody's ever been able to
Hell yeah, Jello.
do that I know of, do it in an operationally feasible way. I'm not in any way saying that hypnosis doesn't take place. I'm not saying there's nothing to it.
I would say that most government agencies concerned with intelligence operations have been looking to hypnosis as a tool.
Yeah, how bad for it, really? It was like a DUI Hall of Famer. There's like all of these pictures, like the pictures from the yearbook of them. Fucking, oh, that's another one. Time to hang up another one.
For a variety of purposes, one of which is to carry out and to execute certain intelligence operations on a basis where they would not have to rely completely on some of their own emotional reactions. Actually,
Would that entail murder?
It could, if you consider that an act of killing someone under circumstances of war is murder. I think one has to define what that means.
Under circumstances of peace.
Oh, hell yeah, SH. They would always have... I was in class once when a guy got busted. He was like, oh my god, and like trying to get his bag. They're like, no, you don't get your bag. I think someone ratted on him because like they knew to come to that class and have the drug dogs. But there also was this guy who used to drive a hearse. I don't know why. He wasn't cool at all. He was like a band geek. But he had a hearse. I guess his parents were trying to embarrass him by like making him drive a hearse to school. And the drug dog used to always hit on his hearse because it would smell the smell of the old corpses.
Under circumstances of peace, it would be murder.
Another former CIA agent says that Fidel Castro at one time was considered as a possible target for a Manchurian candidate.
Castro was naturally our discussion point. Could you get somebody gung-ho enough that they would go in and get him? But if you have 100% control of a guy, you have 100% dependency. If something happens and you haven't programmed it in, you've got a problem.
So in the end...
Oh, damn, low-cal cooking. That's crazy.
And it was decided that a Manchurian candidate was not feasible. But the search for mind control continued. But could the mind be controlled? Perhaps not. But is human behavior predictable? In this area, the CIA did make a significant breakthrough. A personality assessment system designed by the agency's chief psychologist, John Gittinger. It comes close to being able to predict how humans will behave.
It's really a descriptive system, an attempt to try to describe personality in a relatively systematic way, so that hopefully...
Oh, yeah, Fifth. Oh, that kid might have been sniffing a embalming fluid. Yeah, possibly.
You can get some kind of an idea to predict what the behavior between different kinds of individuals.
Hell yeah, Akron Asylum. Oh, God. Oh, RFK? Hell yeah, Ledgeview. That was like another one. I decided to start with this because that Jonestown documentary, half of it's about RFK.
Gittinger system.
Come on, Sir Han. That's the fakest name I've ever heard in my life. Ain't nobody with the first name and last name the same name.
Had many uses in intelligence work. One was to draw personality portraits of world leaders. Using Gittinger's system, the agency concluded the Shah of Iran is a brilliant but dangerous megalomaniac whose basic problems resulted from an overbearing father. And there were other applications. Your assessment staff played a key role in helping other governments pick their police intelligence.
Yeah. Once somebody snitched on me, I think... Okay, so there was this kid who looked like he was like way older than everybody. He had like sideburns and shit. And I think he was a narc because I showed him this video I made on my PSP. It was new. It was right when PSPs came out. And I had made like a fucking Microsoft Windows Movie Maker and some other shit, like really crappy little like video of the fucking principal dancing, singing Pour Some Sugar on Me, and it was like South Park animated. It was really fucking bad. And yeah, I showed him that, and then the fucking principal knew about it and got me in trouble.
Agencies, including, we've learned, the Korean CIA, Uruguayan National Police. Can you tell us about this?
Oh, absolutely, the polka dotted dress. Hell yeah, Ledgeview. What's up, HP Warcraft? That's a pretty funny name. But yeah, the polka dotted dress lady. And she ran out saying, we killed him. And then they they interrogate that woman for so fucking long. Like, no, you didn't see what you thought you saw. And shit like that. They are literally like trying to break her and make her say like she did not see a polka dotted dress woman.
No.
What's up, Mark? It's okay. I got. CIA like cut my internet there for a minute. And then they are definitely not sitting beside me holding a gun at me.
Author John Marks.
The former #2 CIA man in Uruguay told me how in 1966, John Gittinger and an assistant traveled down to Uruguay and gave the tests in order to select
Lewis, goddamn.
Members of the Uruguayan intelligence service. A psychologist who used to work for the CIA told me in 1961 he personally traveled to South Korea as part of an American CIA effort to set up the Korean CIA and to give the personality tests to candidates for the Korean CIA to choose the best men.
Oh, that's cool locale cooking. Yeah, I had a couple of the movies. I had Jackass, like the first season of Jackass on it. I had a couple of movies. Shit. I had some games, but then it wound up my friend Bar, who now lives in Poland, who I talk to sometimes on here, he was like, I know how to hack your PSP, don't worry, I can hack your PSP, because he had one that he hacked. But mine was an original model, and his was a different type of model. So he cut my battery and it blew the fuck up. He was like, oh, you're a different model, I'm sorry. He goddamn blew up my PSP's back and battery and shit, tried to hack it.
Man for their secret police.
But one of the basic functions of Gittinger's system was finding the vulnerabilities of an agent.
Oh, hell yeah, Mochi. It doesn't matter. I'm like dyslexic as fuck and read stuff backwards, so just whichever way.
A double agent or a potential agent. In its applicability to intelligence work, isn't the PAS system...
What's up, Manic Alien?
Looking for a person's soft spot?
Well, of course, the answer to that is yes, but I hasten to say soft spot. This is what I consider a negative word.
Of the hundreds of behavioral projects undertaken by the CIA, Giddinger's appears to have been one of the more successful and more conventional.
Damn, Code, man, that sucks. God damn. Fucking thieves, man. Bullshit.
Experiments were not as conventional. Neurophysicist Dr. Jose Delgado was financed by the Office of Naval Research. In this experiment, the bull is sedated.
Pretty much low battery.
Electrodes are implanted in its brain. Delgado transmits an electronic impulse to the center of the bull's brain. Delgado has remote control of the animal. Recently released CIA documents refer to the feasibility of remote control of animals, and that special investigations will be conducted toward the application of selected elements.
Have you seen those drone bugs? Those bugs that are like half a live bug and half a weird like drone thing with like cyborg shit in it? Those are freaky.
Of these techniques to man. Other areas were examined through the 60s and 70s. Brain surgery, psychosurgery, creation of amnesia, parapsychology, manipulation of genes. Even though past and present CIA officials have indicated this kind of work ended in 1963. And one of those who took part in these programs.
Right, Sacco? They just love shoving electrodes and stuff. I mean, hell, isn't there like some new age put electrodes in your brain shit going on now? Like Elon Musk and his new electrodes in your brain deal.
Thank you, sir. In 1977, the Senate subcommittee heard testimony from many of them, but the testimony was not that revealing. According to one of them, they agreed amongst themselves to keep the inquiry within bounds that would satisfy the committee. Former narcotics officer Charles Siragusa says that he was asked to limit his testimony by the man he reported to at the CIA.
He wanted me not to say anything.
To perjure yourself.
That's right. Well, either that, I'd have to perjure myself or take the Fifth Amendment.
Hell yeah, Locale. I'll see you later. Hope your puppy's okay.
I'm not about to take the Fifth Amendment for anybody.
Okay. Former CIA chemist Robert Lashbrook testified.
Hell yeah, Bingo.
He had no first-hand knowledge of the agency-run safe houses when, in fact, he supervised one of them. There was very little. And according to George White's diaries, was at a safe house when White conducted what he called an LSD surprise experiment.
An LSD surprise experiment. In layman's terms, I fucking spiked it.
Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, whom we recently filmed near his California home, oversaw many of the CIA behavioral programs. He retired in 1973 and destroyed the records of this work. In sort of a valedictory letter, Dr. Gottlieb wrote that he and his colleagues had been able to maintain contact with the leading edge of developments in the field of biological and chemical control of human behavior.
Hell yeah, Manic Alien, Builder Cat.
Dr. Gottlieb also testified before the Senate subcommittee. But for
goddamn, right? They're starting trials with it? Holy fuck. They've been planning that shit forever. They're like, yay, finally now we can put these goddamn electrodes just straight into their brain. We tried the acid, it didn't really work. We tried a bunch of propaganda on TV and shit, that didn't work. But, you know, if they just let us put shit straight into their brains, that'll definitely work.
From an anteroom where he could not be filmed.
Oh, hell yeah, of course, Rabbit.
Because of what his lawyer termed health and cardiac problems. Dr. Gottlieb declined ABC News' request for an interview. And what of George White, the man who helped the agency in so many of its programs?
Why is he still got his shirt on in that? Yeah. Oh, he's like posing like, yeah, I'm the motherfucking dude who had all those knives at the beginning of this. Look at me now, I ain't got no shirt on. Yeah.
He would retire
for my fangirls.
Here to Stinson Beach, California. And shortly before his death, he wrote to his boss at the CIA, Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, and summed up his career by saying, "It was fun, fun, fun. Where else could a red-blooded American boy lie, kill, and cheat, steal, deceive, rape, and pillage with the sanction and blessing of the All-Highest?" As mind control.
God damn. Motherfucker just didn't care. He was evil.
Control been achieved. From all of the available evidence, it appears doubtful. The human will has prevailed up to this point. But as we have seen, work is continuing in this field. Work that we still don't know very much about. How deep?
I don't know. I don't know what's up with the filter. I think it might just be this, like, rip of it or whatever. I've seen it. I've seen it without it before. But, like, damn.
Are the Russians and other dictatorships into all of this? We really can't say. And the CIA is reluctant to give out information about it. But the basic question remains, what place does all of this have within a democracy? One final point should be made. As one of the persons who worked on these programs told us, we are very capable, conscientious, and very dedicated scientists working for our country. Their work speaks for itself. This is Paul Altmaier for...
What the fuck? They just ended it with like, yes, we have very talented scientists. The work speaks for itself. Like, what the fuck? God, that's like ominous as hell.
ABC News. Good night.
Damn. Alright. And then it just like went to go immediately into like Cyrax again. That's pretty funny. Well, thanks everybody. Yeah, fucking crazy. Crazy ass shit. And this is the oldest known documentary that I know of about it. Comes from 78, like right after the shit was all leaked and whatnot. But thanks everybody. Yeah, HP Warcraft, pretty much. They came over with Project Paperclip and was like, hey guys, you want to continue doing what we were doing? Fucking with people? But anyways, thank you everybody. Mr. Sacco, LaCandle, IDK, Feldspar, Mingo, HP Warcraft, Ledgeview, Jello Putin, Manic Alien, Ondersea, Builder Cat, Lewis, Low Battery Smoke Detector, Mark, SH, Fifth Dog, Locale Cooking, Word 69, G Ferg, Stony, Shinobi Mode, James Craig Jr. Frostmeth was in the first half, I know that. Gabe and Efren B, Polly K the Fixer, and anyone who was in the first half, I can't like see your name now at this point, unfortunately, because of the you know, being held hostage by the CIA. See if I can get this to refresh real quick, because I guess it froze too whenever everything messed up. Demos Z, hell yeah, thank you. Rabbit, hell yeah, thank you. Outbad Brutal, Cetoplast, Shaggy Boy, thank you. And then a special thanks to Sludge Maniac for subscribing to the channel, and Zorz X for subscribing to the channel. I definitely appreciate it. And yeah, sorry about the weird, like, just like it cut it off today. I don't think it messed up as much as it normally does, except for that one, like, catastrophic disconnecting me. Oh yeah, watch out for the kitty cats, because they're CIA plants. I believe it. Look at him. Look at him. He's definitely a CIA agent. I'll see you guys.